What's going on, guys and gals? This is Periodic, and this is another skill calculator. This one's going to be about the power tech for Star Wars The Old Republic, Bounty Hunter to be specific. I made a video already about the Mercenary, but I only covered the first two trees. I didn't cover the shared tree that they have with the power tech, and so we're actually going to start off with that one. And as you can see in the first row, we have an integrated cardio package, which increases endurance by 1%. And you put 3 points in it, and obviously you'll get 3%. You also have Iron Fist, increases the damage dealt by Rocket Punch by 4%. And the main thing of this build, if it is a very distance-oriented build, you're going to be doing a lot of rocket damage, etc., etc. Bursting Flame, Flame Burst has a 33.34 chance to trigger your combustible gas cylinder if active. On the second tier, we'll start off with Gyroscopic Alignment Jets. Quite a mouthful. You have a 50% chance to vent 8 heat when stunned, immobilized, and knocked down or otherwise incapacitated. And it seems like the Pyrotech tree is what a lot of PvPers are using. The cool thing about SWTOR is almost all of the trees are fairly good for PvP, but this is your standard PvP talent right there. We're going to skip it for now if we're doing a PvE build. Sweltering Heat, Combustible Gas Cylinder has a 50% chance when it applies its effect to reduce the movement speed of the target by 50% for 2 seconds. So again, that's another PvP talent, or it's a very situational talent if you're going to be using it in raids against ads or just when you're leveling or in parties, etc., etc. It doesn't affect bosses, but it will affect just normal mobs. Superheated Gas increases the damage dealt by Combustible Gas Cylinder by 10% and its chance to be triggered by 2%. And you want 3 points in that, and we can even put 2 points in there. Superheated Rail Shot ignores 50% of the target's armor. In addition, if Rail Shot hits a burning target, it has a 50% chance to vent 8 heat and refresh the duration of your combustible gas cylinder's burn effect if present. We put 2 points in there, and you can only get that if you put the points in Superheated Gas. Degas Energy Shield has a 50% chance to remove all movement impairing effects when activated, and that's really, really cool. It's almost like a free PvP trinket. But we won't take that for now. Incendiary Missile, costs 25 heat, fires a missile that explodes on contact, igniting the target for 216 elemental damage, and an additional 689 elemental damage over 18 seconds. Infrared Sensors increases stealth detection by 1, melee range defense by 1%, and reduces the cooldown of stealth scan by 2.5 seconds, now by 5 seconds, and 2% in 2% and 2 points in the other two things there. Prototype Particle Accelerator. Flame Burst has a 10% chance, and Rocket Punch has a 15% chance to finish the cooldown on Rail Shot and make the next Rail Shot free. We're going to put 3 points in that. Rapid Venting reduces the cooldown of Vent Heat by 15 seconds. You definitely want to be able to use Vent Heat as much as possible, so that's really cool. Energy Rebounder. When you take damage, you have a 50% chance to reduce the active cooldown of Energy Shield by 1.5 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than once every 1.5 seconds. So this is definitely, it is, again, another situational talent. If you're not taking any damage whatsoever in parties or in operations, then there's really no point in getting this. But we'll skip this for now. Rain of Fire, Rapid Shots, Rocket Punch, Rail Shot, Unload, and Flame Sweep deal 3% additional damage to burning targets, and that's always good. Firebug increases the critical bonus damage of Combustible Gas Cylinder, Rail Shot, Incendiary Missile, and Thermal Detonator by 15%. And then, of course, in the second to last tree, we have Burnout. Increases tech critical hit chance by 1% and increases the damage dealt by periodic elemental effects by 10% on targets below 30% max health. And so when you put 3 points in that, it increases the tech critical hit chance by 3% and increases periodic elemental effects by 30% when you're fighting a target that's 30% max health. And automated defenses, critical hits have a 50% chance to reduce the active cooldown on Kolto Overload and Thermal Sense Override by 3 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than once every 1.5 seconds. And the last talent in the Pyrotech tree is Thermal Detonator. It costs 16 heat, cooldown is 15 seconds, and range is 30 meters. It hurls a thermal detonator that adheres to the target and detonates after several seconds. Standard and weak enemies enter a state of panic while the explosion is active. The explosion deals 949 kinetic damage when it detonates. Standard and weak targets are knocked back from the blast. Shares a 15-second cooldown with Explosive Dart. Okay, so that's that. We're going to clear all those. I'm going to go to Advanced Prototype, and this is kind of melee melee-ish. It's definitely got a lot of talents that are geared toward melee. And we'll start off with Puncture. Rail Shot ignores 20% of the target's armor. It's always good. Prototype Electro Surge reduces cooldown of Electro Dart by 5 seconds, and Prototype Burn Enhancers increases the critical hit chance of all fire effects by 3%. Hot Iron increases the damage dealt by Flame Burst and Retractable Blade by 3%. You're going to be doing a lot of Retractable Blade in this build. Power Armor reduces all damage taken by 1%. Again, another situational talent. Always good, even just to put a point in it. Reduces the cooldown of Flamethrower by 1.5 seconds and Grapple by 5 seconds. That is advanced tools. And we do like Flamethrower. And the last point over here is Prototype Cylinders. Increases the effect of your gas cylinders while they are active. Combustible gas cylinder will increase the tech critical hit chance by 3%. High energy gas cylinder further increases all internal and elemental damage by 3%. And ion gas cylinder increases damage dealt by ion gas cylinder by 8%. Now in the third tier we have Hitman, reduces the cooldown of Quell by 1 second. You can go up to 2 on that. Pneumatic Boots increases movement speed by 7.5%, while high energy gas cylinder is active. And we're going to put 2 talents in there because movement speed is always good. The more movement speed you have, the better. Whether it's in PvP or PvE, you know, it's always good to run faster than your opponent. All the way to the right, Prototype Cylinder Ventilation. While high energy gas cylinder is active, you have the 50% chance to vent 8 heat every 6 seconds. And Retractable Blade plunges the retractable blade into the target that deals 380 kinetic damage and causes the target to bleed for 459 internal damage over 15 seconds. Now that is using 16 heat. That enables us to use Serrated Blades, which increases the damage dealt by Retractable Blade's bleed effect by 15% when you put 3 points in it. Next to that is Flame Barrage. Flame Burst has a 50% chance, and Immolate has a 50% chance to make your next Rocket Punch free. This effect lasts 15 seconds, and now we're given 2 points in there to give us 30% chance and 100% chance, respectively. Now, once you put the points in Serrated Blades, you can get Charged Gauntlets in the next tier, which cause Rocket Punch and Retractable Blade to have a 25% chance to make your next rail shot critically hit automatically. Next to that is Kolto Vents. When you vent heat, you regen 7% of your health over 10 seconds. That's actually pretty cool, but we're going to skip that for now. We're going to go next to Hydraulic Overrides. Grants 8 seconds of immunity from movement impairing effects, knockdowns, and physics, and increases movement speed by 30%. And we're going to look to the left and see Prototype Flamethrower. Flame Burst and Flame Sweep have a 50% chance to grant Prototype Flamethrower, increasing the damage dealt by your next flamethrower by 10%. Stacks up to 5 times, and we do like that. So we're going to put 2 points in that. And we're going to put 1 point in that because that's really nice. And we're going to put 2 points in this. Okay, we go back up to Prototype Weapon System. Increases the critical strike damage of damage bonus of Rocket Punch, Flame Burst, and Immolate by now 30%. And next to that is Stabilized Armor. While stunned, you take 10% less damage. Now you can choose to get this or Hydraulic Overrides, which is pretty good as well. But if you're looking for a straight up DPS build, you'll probably get let's take a look here. Yeah, we'll probably put 2 points in the cooldown of Electro Darts by 10 seconds. And lastly is Immolate. It sprays the target with fuel and ignites it in a fireball that deals 623 elemental damage. That cooldown is 15 seconds. The range is just 10 meters, and it costs 8 heat, which isn't really that much. But let's X that out, and let's go to the last tree, which is the shield tech tree. And as it says right there, you are a shield. You're a tank, pretty much. So we start off with Rail Loaders, increases the damage of rail shot by 3%. We also have Intimidation, increases damage done by all fire effects by 2%. And lastly, Combust. Flame Burst and Flame Sweep combust the target, longer its damage dealt by 2% for 15 seconds. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this the best tanking build. I gotta play around with it. I'll probably come back and give you guys a really in-depth tanking builds for every or mostly every class, but I'm gonna give it a shot here, and definitely you're gonna want to put Combust because it's gonna lower the damage of your enemy by 4% for 15 seconds. And out of these two, we're probably gonna look at, I'm gonna guess we're gonna go for fire effects here. Let's put 5 points in that. We go up to the top second tier, and Brace Armor increases armor rating by 16%, which is pretty awesome. Steely Resolve increases aim by 3%. You hit, or now by 9%. When you're hitting, you are doing damage, and that's what you want. Ion Overload. Rocket Punch now has a 50% chance to trigger your ion gas cylinder. In addition, when ion gas cylinder deals damage, it has a 50% chance to shock the target for 125 additional energy damage over 6 seconds. And we're going to put 2 points in that, just so it's a 100% chance, because a lot of people like to put points in here and then go up and get prototype cylinders. So when you have your ion gas cylinder, it increases damage dealt by ion gas cylinder by 8%, which is pretty cool. And the one all the way to the left is ion gas cylinder damage now lowers the movement speed of the target by 50% for 2 seconds. But again, that's just strictly PvP or situational adds, leveling, etc., etc. Third tier, shield vents increases shield chance by 1%. In addition, shielding an attack has 25% chance to vent 8 heat. This effect cannot occur more than once every second, and we're going to put 2 points in that, and obviously it doubles the shield chance to 2%, and the shielding an attack gives you 50% chance. Now next to that is Oil Slick. It causes 8 heat. It has a 60-second cooldown, and it sprays the immediate area with oil. Nearby enemies become imbalanced, and their accuracy of range and melee attack is lowered by 20% for 18 seconds. Now, to the right of that is a Blade of Upgrades. Increases absorption by 3% and reduces the cooldown of Kolto Overload by 30 seconds. So we could put 2 points in there, 1 point right in here. Now, for Ion Overload, the next tier is Supercharged Ion Gas. Increases the damage dealt by ion gas cylinder by 25% and increases its shock duration by 3 seconds. So let's put 1 point in that. Next door to it is Ion Screen. Further increases damage reduction while ion gas cylinder is active by 1%, so by 2% now when you put 2 points in it. So you see how important ion gas cylinder is. And Flame Shield increases the critical chance of Rocket Punch and Flame Sweep by 15%. In addition, shielding an attack has 25% chance to finish the cooldown on Rocket Punch. This effect cannot occur more than once every 4.5 seconds. We like that. And we're looking at No Escape. Grapple has a 50% chance to immobilize the target for 3 seconds. In addition, your Stealth Scan has a 50% chance to immobilize the target. It reveals for 3 seconds. And like I said many times, any kind of talent that says the word immobilize in it is pretty much for PvP or those situations in a operation where you have to immobilize adds. It's usually on like a gimmick boss fight, and usually your operation leader will tell you about that you have to spec a certain way. Jet Charge. Cooldown is 15 seconds. It jumps to the target, dealing 447 kinetic damage, interrupting the target's current action and immobilizing the target for 3 seconds. Cannot be used against targets in cover, which I do hate, because as a Sith warrior, I love to do the Sith charge, and you can't do it to people in cover, which stinks. Jet Speed. Jet Charge has a 50% chance to increase your movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. And I like that, just 1 point of that. Flame Surge increases the critical strike bonus damage of Rocket Punch and Flame Sweep by 15%. And now the second to last tier, Empowered Tech, increases shield chance by 2%. Put 5 points in that, and you have a straight up 10% shield chance increase. And the last talent in the Shield Tech talent tree is Heat Blast. Cooldown 15 seconds. Range only 10 meters, but it discharges 8 heat into a fiery blast, dealing 443 elemental damage. And so there is your talent, guys, for the Power Tech Bounty Hunter. Again, the Pyrotech tree is the one that's shared. This is mainly a melee DPS build with a few range maneuvers, the advanced prototype, and the Shield Tech is exactly like it sounds, Shield Tech. I'm going to be coming out with a lot of revised talent calculators in the future once I get a little bit more information on all the builds, and it would be really awesome once we get some kind of combat log, so we can get a recount like add-on that will be able to just take the raw data, all the numbers, and be able to tell people exactly what the correct build is, or what the best one is. It sucks to have cookie cutter specs, but if it's giving you an advantage over just kind of going out on your own, then it's good to go that route. But at the moment, keep experimenting with all the builds, keep playing how you want to play, as long as you're not dying every 2 seconds, then just keep on experimenting with all the builds. And I also want to thank everybody that's been subscribing, liking, and favoriting the videos, commenting, I've definitely appreciated, guys. I'm almost up to 50 subscribers. 50, yes. It's probably not that much, but it is to me, and I really appreciate it. Like I said, everybody that likes, favorites, and also people that are telling their friends, maybe recommending my channel. I appreciate it. If you guys could also check me out on TGN, you can go on TGN RPG, right in the right corner. That link will go to the my playlist on TGN RPG, and I'm also going to be appearing on TGN Underground very, very soon. This is Periodic saying see ya.